Toni Jacobs' 21-year-old daughter, Keeshae, was headed to a friend's house in 2016, and Toni has not seen her since. Toni, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So your daughter is one of the women who were missing. So she
Yeah.
would be 28 years old now. Tell me what happened. She told you she was going to a friend's house and she vanished.
Yeah, Keeshae just had turned 21, August the 6th. Doing what any normal 21-year-old would do. Mom going over with my friends. I was like, okay, just leave me alone. That's, how the kids are. I was like, just call and let me know that you made it there safe. And she was like, all right. I get the text about 11 something. Mom here, I'm okay. I was like, all right, just be careful. Yes, ma'am. And then she was like, I'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, I love you. She was like, I love you too. That was my last message. Like the next day, Keeshae normally would call me by my lunch break, and I hadn't heard anything. I probably would have got like 50 text messages by 12, but I didn't get any. And I was like, it seemed odd to me. But then I started calling her phone. It was going to voicemail. By the time I got off work, I started calling her friends. I use that word loosely. And everybody say they haven't seen her. They would check around and see if they could find her. I try to go to bed that night. Then I wake up like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Then I start going knocking at people's doors because I'm going where I know I done dropped her off, picked her up. Any of these places where I've known she, I have the addresses. Nobody's seen her. So that Wednesday, I want to say about 6:30, 7 o'clock that night, she had about 4 or 5 of her friends show up at my door to let me know that they dropped her off at a house. So I made them take me to the house. We get to the house. The guy says, yeah, I know Keeshae. She always come over here with, and she pointed to the friend. So I proceed to look at that friend and like, well, you act like you don't know nothing about this house or this person or anything. So then I asked him, when did he see her? He told me first he saw her at 5 o'clock on that Monday. I was like, no, you couldn't have, because she was at home. I was talking to my daughter. Changed the time again. He changed the time several times, so I decided to call the police. They told me somebody would talk to me, but it was like a week later that I even talked to a detective about my daughter's case. But that was after, like that Sunday, we did like a rally, passed out flyers and went door to door.
You printed the flyers, you organized groups.
Yes, I paid for it out of my pocket.
What have you heard from law enforcement since? Have they been helpful to you?
In the beginning, no. When I say no, like they went into the house and they found her DNA in the house.
They did?
Yes, but they said it was not enough blood to say that she was gone. So I was like, okay, because I point blank asked them, do you think my baby's deceased? And they was like, no. So that was within a few weeks of her being missing. But it took them 2 years to say it was foul play of her being missing. So it never got released to the public that somebody did something and took her. And when it comes to us, first thing people say is, oh, she just ran off with a boyfriend. I was like, ain't no man no good that she can run away and not call her mom and tell her. And then it was, she's pregnant. And I was like, she's 21. I don't care about her being pregnant. But even when I reported it to the police, they was like, well, she's 21. Maybe she don't want to be bothered. And I was like, she could have called me and told me that.
Did they say that to you?
Yes. So I literally had to plead my case, open my phone and show them calls and text messages. This girl texts me for everything. Like, I'd be like, stop texting me. I see you when I get off. It's an everyday thing. And the fact that I had to plead my case just for them to even take the report. Not for nobody to come see me. Because they didn't come until after the family was like, well, just tell the police they don't have to get a search warrant. You can just come on into the house. And
Alexis, this is making you emotional.
Alexis,
Why?
I'm sorry.
What part of Keeshae's story is connecting with you?
Because she's my age.
She's your age.
Yeah. I'm 29. I just turned 29, but I didn't even know sitting next to you. I didn't know you were going through that. And I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
We'll fight to keep looking for her.
Thank you.
I'm the same age as your daughter, so I don't know, and I just know I left home, and I just can imagine my mom sitting here saying the same thing if I didn't come back, or if I never made it back.
Thank you.
Toni, what do you think may have happened? Do you believe that she's still somewhere out there seeking help?
In my heart, I don't believe she's gone. In my heart, I don't feel it. And they say your mother has these intuitions, and in my heart, I know my baby's out there.
Take your time.
This is hard for me because Tuesday will mark 7 years that she's been missing. And with every being in me, I'm going to continue to fight to bring my daughter home.
I want, Natalie, go ahead.
That's why community engagement is so important. Someone knows something, and we have to get away from that no snitching. This is a mother who's hurting. She wants to find her daughter. And in the audience, just share Keeshae's profile. We just need one person to come forward so that Toni can have the answers that she deserves. It's not fair to her.
And what infuriates me, and I've heard this, Toni, from so many Black families, is that they have to convince law enforcement that their loved one didn't. They say, oh, well, they're on drugs, they ran away, they don't want to be bothered with you. They have to spend their own money to start organizing search parties and trying to find dogs that can sniff around and go door to door asking people for surveillance video. Families are doing law enforcement work by themselves. So how can we force law enforcement to do their jobs for our community?
There's a couple of things. First and foremost, there is no unified policy. Law enforcement operates at their discretion based on their county and jurisdiction. So in this county to the left, they may tell the families to wait 24 hours, but in this county to the right, they can report immediately. So we're working with legislators to create a unified policy holistically where law enforcement handle cases regardless of race, gender, and zip code the same way. Because it's so important for everyone to understand law enforcement work for you. They're public servants. You don't work for law enforcement, and hold their feet to the fire. And the other issue that we're also seeing is that those that are policing our community are not from the community that they're policing. And so there's a huge disconnect right there alone. But I think it's important for you to hold their feet to the fire because they have to do their job. No family should have to go through what Keeshae's mom is going through, what Alania's family went through, what Shay-Shay's family is going through, what Tiffany Foster's family is going through.
We need to stop turning our heads and act like it can't happen to me, because it can happen to you. In my community alone, I done had people, I'm so glad, Toni. You know, I don't know what you're going through, and I'm just hope and pray that I don't have to go through it. And then less than a year later, somebody that I know that said that to me was calling me because their child was missing, asking me what they needed to do. I need us as a community to come together and stop turning your head and acting like you don't see something when you do, and just report it, because it could be your child.
There are so many families who are looking for their child. We want to take a minute to highlight just a few that are missing, whose families are looking for them, because the awareness is so important. And we're going to put their pictures up. We're going to say their names. And again, if you know anything, please reach out. 31-year-old Alexis Ware. Alexis has been missing since January 2022. 39-year-old Ebony Varner. Ebony's been missing since June 2023. It's just been a few months. 25-year-old Alani Lenoir. She's been missing since July of 2022. Tiffany Foster has been missing since March of 2021. And Shaikemia Shai Pate. She's been missing since September 1998. She was just 8 years old when she vanished. Today she would be 33 years old. And their families are here with us today. They're here in the front row. They've joined us to share their stories and some of the challenges that they've been facing. I want to start with LaShonda and Veronica, Shai's family. Shai has been missing the longest of all of our families. She's been missing for 25 years. And last year, you actually thought that you found her, that you thought there was a break in the case. What happened?
Well, a young lady contacted my mom on Facebook Messenger and said that she believed that she might be Shai. But, you know, after they went and tried to find out and do DNA and everything, turns out not her. So it's like reliving it again, you know.
In April, your sister, Ebony, is missing. And you told us this week was really tough for you because you started picking up your sister's things and putting them in storage. What was that like for you to have to start taking those steps?
For me, it was very hard. My mom was gonna come, but you know, I saw that she kind of had every reason why not to come, and I knew that for her, coming would kind of finalize the fact that Ebony's missing. You know, well, not necessarily missing, but I think for my mom, it would have made it seem like she's just gone. I don't feel like my sister's gone. I really don't, but at the end of the day, you know, it was her house. She was paying the bills, so it's like, without anybody paying the bills, I'm gonna have to move her stuff because we don't need it outside on the street.
We've seen how devastating this issue is for the families of missing women and how little attention they've gotten from the press. Coming up, we're going to tell you how likely you would be to get media attention if you disappeared. But first, have you seen these women?